Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay-Sue Thar. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh my goodness, right, I gotta say, it's a bit of a miracle that we've got our guest here today, right? Because we have been trying several times and something always got in the way, right? And it's been tech, right? It has been tech. And so today I am so excited to have the amazing Helen Tudor on our podcast today, who's going to be talking about all sorts of different things from LinkedIn, client attraction, and a little bit about her journey. So please welcome Helen to Make Your Mark podcast. Oh my goodness, Helen, I am so excited to have you here.
Kay, I am so excited to be here. It is a miracle that we are here today recording this. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your patience in getting this set up. So yeah, I'm really pleased to be here. And I feel like it's divine timing. I was meant to be here in this moment right now. So we're in the right place at the right time as always. So, but yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
No worries. Oh my goodness. And I've got so many questions to ask you, Helen, right? Because you have made changes, you've transformed, you're doing several different things. You are very, very well known in the UK for being the LinkedIn person as well. But very recently, you have changed in what you're doing and what your passion is. And we will go into all of that a little bit later on. But I would love for you to share with everyone that's listening and watching this a little bit about your background, right? And how you managed to build such a successful business and how that all really came about.
So I'd love to say it was this inspired, mission that I came upon that became my life's work. But actually I was just really broke and really desperate. And I knew that if I was going to get myself out of the shit, I'm allowed to say shit. If I was going to get, I was just in this position. I was 30 years old, 2 small children, single mom, in loads of debt, just looking around at my life that was just on fire and thinking, is this it? Is this how you're going to, is this what you're going to do for another 10 years? So I just had that kind of moment where I just thought, I've got to do something else here. And I just started online, really. I did start actually using LinkedIn to start a business. And what I did was I started out using LinkedIn to get clients for myself for a social media business. So I started using LinkedIn to generate clients for a social media business that I could do at home around the children, that didn't involve me spending loads of money, didn't mean me going out to work. And it really just helped me see that there was a world out there that didn't involve going to a job, and that was kind of a real breakthrough for me. Grew that business into a digital agency and then realized I hated it. I was so miserable. I had everything that everyone was from the outside looked amazing. I had fancy offices with motivational things on the wall, had 11 staff. I had, my own parking space and I was miserable. Okay. I was so unhappy. I built myself another job. I was oh, this is horrendous. I hated it. And then I just had this moment where someone said to me, and I do owe this guy a pint, because he said to me at a networking event, he said, where are you getting all these clients from for your agency? And I said, I get them all on LinkedIn. And he's like, no, that's not, you don't get clients on LinkedIn, that's just for networking. I said, oh no, I just do these 3 things a day. And he was like, no, that's not how it works. And I was like, no, it is. I was like, we were at a golf club somewhere, so I wrote it on a napkin. I was like, do this in your profile, do this every day, do these 3 things. And off he went. And then I saw him again and he was like, Helen, guess what? And I was like, what? He went, I did what you told me to do and I got a client. And I was like, yeah, that's how it works. And he was just he said to me, you don't understand. I've been on LinkedIn for ages. I've never had a client from there. You should teach this. And it was literally that moment. I was like, okay, it's easy for me. This is so easy. It's a 3 things to do a day strategy. It's so easy. And I was getting all these great clients. So I just started teaching it. So when it's the online space, if you like, and I thought, well, this is great. I can just teach this one-to-one, which I did. I used to charge £99 for people to get on a call with me, and I teach them this strategy. And it just kind of went from there, really. And I just went on this mad journey of online entrepreneur bingo, really, of doing one-to-one, then doing a group program, then doing a 5-day challenge, then winning some awards, doing my first big launch, building an email list, having a free, like all the sort of like tick, tick, tick box stuff. And, you know, did 6 figures, and then I did 7 figures. And then I was like, did like a 100K launch and then a 300K launch. And it was just like this mad, absolutely mad, wild ride that I went on where I became the go-to expert for LinkedIn. You know, it's just like I became the person, you know, people were like tagging me in everywhere. You know, my DMs were just blowing up all the time. I was able to charge what I want. I was able to charge, you know, like £1,000 an hour. You know, and I was doing like corporate stuff. I was doing online stuff. I was doing like, it was just like amazing, good times, right? And it was just like, just this whole wild ride, really, where the first couple of years it was like hard work in terms of like I was pitching to get on podcasts, I was pitching to do guest experts, I was pitching to get clients, really. And then it just kind of like snowballed to this point where I was so consistent and I was so like just doing the same things over and again, pulling those big visibility levers, you know, of getting in front of more people, that I just felt like that ball literally like got to the top of the hill and started getting momentum. So, you know, that really taught me so much about expert positioning, because that understanding your identity and then moving into the visibility phase and then moving into the authority phase where people, not everyone knows you, but in your niche, you know, you become what I call niche famous. It was just like, oh, it was great, you know, because it was easy, it was fun, it was enjoyable. And then COVID hit. I fell in love, got married. It was all a lot of stuff going on with my kids as well. We had like a weird, you know, we all had a weird few years, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the business. And it was just kind of like coming out of that and sort of getting back on it and teaching it again. I felt like I just feel like there was a pre-2020 me and a post-2020 me, like personally, professionally, spiritually, energetically, from a family point of view, like everything kind of changed, and logistically I moved house and stuff like that. So I was kind of getting back into it, and I was doing challenges again, and I was doing webinars and all that kind of stuff. And my team really just turned around to me. We were planning out the year, and we always do every year, you know, we get our wall planners out and we go, right, this will be the launch, this is when we do the Friday challenge, this is when we do that. And I remember we were talking about it, and one of my team, like Gillian, bless her, she said, or you could not do it again. Like you could not do all of this LinkedIn stuff. Because she said, all you talk about is ideal client. All you really talk about is getting known and getting famous and becoming an expert. She was just like, you could just do that. And it was just this weird out of body experience, really, where I was like, could I? And I could just feel my energy change. I'll have to find this call, actually. I'll have to find this team meeting, because I bet you can see my energy go from like pretty flat to like, what, really? You think I could just burn all this to the ground and be someone else and talk about all this stuff that I'm so passionate about and talk about the spirituality, like aspects of business and the energetics? And they were just like, yeah, you've been doing it for 10 years, Helen, like permission to do something else, you know? And that was a real pivotal moment for me. And then once I did that, everything's changed again. It's like being back at the beginning, but in a whole new way. You know, it's kind of like I'm getting known for the new thing. I'm getting on podcasts and talking about it, doing guest experts, got first 5-day challenge coming up in September. So like, you know, it's kind of like it's a new evolved version of me, but talking about a new topic, something that I'm deeply passionate about. And I thought, I love LinkedIn, and I do love LinkedIn. It's a great platform. It's a great tool. I did a masterclass on it yesterday. I'm not bored of talking about LinkedIn, but there's so much more to business, and there's so much more that I've learned over these years of, you know, building an online business, working with thousands of entrepreneurs, having a big group program, you know. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is like I've been in the repositioning goo a little bit, like and learning all of that again is just really great. It's really humbling. It's really great because I'm doing it and I'm teaching it at the same time, which is really good. And a lot of people who've been in the journey with me for the last 10 years are also transitioning to something new. So we're kind of like, you know, we're all going together, and it's just, yeah, it's a really exciting time for me. It's time in my business, time in my personal life. You know, I'm feeling great. I'm like 45 now. I feel like I look great. I feel great. You know what I mean? I just feel like my kids are great. My husband's great. You know, it's all coming together, Kay. So I would say I'm in a very excited, energetic space, but also feeling very calm and confident and content and excited for this next phase of business and life.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've got even more questions to ask now, Helen. But I love that. I love learning all about that. And the fact is that You've been around for a long time, like you've mentioned, but I've only heard from you. And I mentioned this when I first met you in person, which was what, a month ago now, right? At a spa event, like last year. I've only heard of you like last year, right?
Yeah.
And so it's great for me. And also, I know a lot of my audience to learn a little bit about your background and how that all kind of transpired. So thanks for sharing all of that. Oh my goodness.
It's a
So
roller
when
coaster.
it really is. But I think that's the case for all business owners, all entrepreneurs, right? It's not going to be that easy, quick fix, got an idea, you're going to make millions. It does never happens. And so just taking a few steps back, you mentioned when you first started, you did the whole email list building, you were getting the visibility, you're pitching for podcasts and speaking and all of that. Did you know these were the steps that you had to take when you first started, or was it just putting things out there, experimenting and see what worked?
It was definitely, I just, as long as my whole thought process every morning was, how can I get in front of new people today? Like, that was always it. How can I grow my audience today? How can I get in front of people who don't know my name? And to me,
Mm,
I didn't have an audience, didn't have a platform, didn't have anything. Literally, I had no audience, no authority, no money. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just like, I was just kind of like from scratch. And I knew that other people had been in business longer than me, been online longer
mm,
than me, built communities. And I had all these great communities. And I was like, I want to get in front of those people, So how can I get in front of those people? And really, that was my days was spent. And this is the bit I always like go back to when people come to me and say, oh, I want to do what you've done. It's like, I spent all day, every single day. I made so many sacrifices in my time, my energy. I was like, stick the kids on an iPad because I want to be in this Facebook group and getting to know people. It's like, take the kids to the play center and like, all the other parents would give you dirty looks because you'd be on your phone, because you'd just be like emailing podcast hosts, you'd be doing they like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I would like fall asleep, my phone in my hand, like engaging in Facebook groups because I just wanted to get in front of new people and I wanted people to know who I was. But it wasn't, to me, it wasn't about I need people to buy from me. I just like, if I can get in front of more people will buy my thing eventually. And I've always had a very long term, and I still do have a very long term attitude to this. It's like, this is a 10-year plan. This isn't I want to get in a Facebook group and I want to find somebody I want to buy my stuff. It's like, I want to get to know people so that they can come on the journey with me. And when they're ready, they'll buy from me. I was confident in that. So it was just about like, how can I find people who've done what I want to do, which is to build community, get in front of lots of people, have a lot of people who follow them. Like, how can I find people who've already done that? And then how can I position it so I can help them first? So, and did I always do it this way? Obviously not. I got thrown out a load of Facebook groups. I got told to piss off by loads of podcast hosts. Like, of course, there was a lot of rejection. There was a lot of, but ultimately
yeah.
over time, I realized that the way to make this work is to get those people who have done what I want to do on my side. Like, it doesn't work for me to just go and try and like just get their audience. That's like such an amateur way to do it, and I see people do it. Obviously, people do it in my groups now. What I realized very early on is like, I need them more than they need me. So like, how can I help them first? How can I make it so that I add value in their groups, or I support their clients, or I support what they're trying to achieve? And then over time, again, this longer term relationship build, I can say, look, I've been in your group for a while. I really love it. I can see that people are asking questions, for example, about LinkedIn. I could do a free session. Like, I never charge for guest experts, never charge for speaking, never charge for
Mm,
podcasts, right? I always just give up my time and my value freely. And then some people would say, yeah, and then I'd get guest expert, and then more guest experts came more guest experts. So I'd document that, talk to people, ask them if they knew anyone. And then it just kind of grew from there. But it's hard graft in that first year. And so it should be. And that's the difference. Like, it should be hard work, because if it was easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't have the value. So, but the point, it was always planting seeds that could come to fruition years down the line, and do come to fruition years down the line. Like, even now,
oh,
I know, like, I recorded a masterclass. It's going to go into this. She's amazing, actually, but she's got a really great audience. She's got a really great network. Someone recommended me to go and do the training, So all of this is paying off from something I did maybe 5 years ago. Then I do it and it goes into her portal in her program. That will pay off for me for years to come. I'm in people's portals, which sounds more Sexy it is. Trying to keep the portals from 2015 and still get leads from them now, So,
Wow.
like people say, I'll just watch your training in so-and-so's program. I'll just watch your training in so-and-so. Or just watch your podcast episode that you were on a couple of years back. So it's thinking long term and being really understanding where you are in your expert positioning. Like for me now, for ideal client, for expert positioning, I'm still a beginner. I'm still in the identity phase. Yeah, I've got authority, I've got audience, right? But I'm still in the identity phase for this thing. I've got authority for LinkedIn, but I'm still in the identity phase, the visibility phase for expert positioning, which is kind of like a bit meta, right? But, over time, if I'm consistent, I keep saying the same things, keep adding value, keep doing podcasts, keep doing guest experts, keep showing up, keep helping people, keep talking about this stuff over and over again. Over time, people will come to me for it rather than me going to them. So it's exciting because it puts you back in that position. And we talked off camera about how we just overcomplicate things. We make things hard for ourselves. And sometimes I think there's the joy in it, though. There's a joy in the proving. So for me, it would have been easy for me to just keep doing LinkedIn. It was easy, it was fun, it was profitable, still enjoyed it. I didn't get the deep joy. Whereas now I'm like, the deep joy comes from the subject matter, which is much more nuanced and in depth. And I talk much more about spirituality and energetics, which is much more about me as a person rather than just the strategy, which I'm still a strategist at heart. But actually, I'm getting the joy in the climb, the joy in the grind, the joy in the being unknown, becoming known, feeling that shift in the energy when my positioning starts to shift, mainly so I can teach it again and I can talk from the experience. But yeah, I've kind of I burn it all to the ground so I can rebuild it, not because I had to, because I wanted to. And I think that's quite powerful, a learning for me, really. It's just, I get the joy in the climb as much as the result,
Oh my goodness. Okay. Every time you talk, there's more and more questions. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to ask her this now. Right. Okay. So, all right. So when you decided, okay, you had this mindset in the very beginning that you're in it for the long term, like it's gonna come, right? Mm-hmm. But you also mentioned you were in a position where you had no money, right? You was in debt, right? So didn't that scarcity sit in and be like, well, I can't wait for a year until this this comes to light. Like, I need money right now. Like, how did you work with that mindset?
So I think you're dead right? And I still get this now. I still get a cash flow crisis. And I'm like, oh, I've got to make 20 grand. And how do I go? So I think there's always, in every entrepreneur, you've got your short-term cash generating ideas and you've got your longer term play. So I just feel like I was always very sales minded as well as thinking long term and but it's almost like that's my long term plan. So I'm going to be planting those seeds all day, every day. But in the short term, it's like, how can I solve a problem for somebody right now? And that's why I teach the £99 thing. This is a really strong strategy for people when they're either new or they're trialing something new or they want to prove a concept and get paid for it. So although everything I did at volume was always free, anything I did one-to-one was always paid.
Right.
That's the difference. So if I'm getting in front of multiple people, I do it for free. Anybody who comes into my kind of proximity of one-to-one always got paid. Now I charge £1,000 an hour, then I charge £99 an hour. So people couldn't just pick my brains, get into my DMs, get into a conversation. It was always like, I've seen you on a podcast or I've seen you in a group. Like, can you help me with LinkedIn? The answer was always yes. I do a one-to-one, it's £99, we record it, I'll send it to you after, blah, 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 right? And this £99 thing became one of my kind of strategies that I teach, because whatever the thing is that you want to become an expert in, you've got to become time served in it. So you want to do loads of one-to-one with it before you start the group program or whatever it is you're going to do, write the book, host the podcast, all that kind of big positioning levers, become time served in it. So everyone should do one-to-one. But everyone should get charged. You should get paid for it. You should charge for your time, of course. And a lot of people come to me like, well, I should charge more than £99. It's like, fine, charge what you want. But it's like, just understand the concept, right? So you charge a fixed price for an hour of your time. But what do you do with that? So I teach this as a strategy. So I say to people, right, you want to get known as the expert of this thing. The first thing we're going to do is 3 for free. So we do 3 of these things for free for people that we know already, that we like and we trust. And we're going to ask them for a testimonial. And we're going to use that testimonial to get people in to pay us, right? Because we need some proof. We need
Right.
proof first. So we're going to do 3 for free to get our social proof. Don't need to do more than that. We're just going to do 3. And then once we've done our 3 for free, we're going to start with the £99 thing or the whatever you want to charge thing, right? But just for easy maths. Right?
Yeah.
Then what happens is you use the social proof and you show up on your own socials or in other people's groups or whatever. You say, I do this thing. I teach you XYZ, or I'm an expert in XYZ, or I help you with XYZ. And the £99 session is literally an hour. First half is them talking, telling you who they are, where they're at, what problems they've got. The second half is you talking in terms of like, this is the problems, I can help you with. This is some quick wins. This is whatever it might be, right? So I used to be able to teach my LinkedIn strategy in half an hour because it was basically 3 things a day, So I'd talk to
Oh,
my ideal
wow.
client and then I'd just say, do these 3 things a day. So people would leave like, mind blown. I'd send them the recording and forget all about them in the nicest possible way, right? Got on with my day. But what I
Right.
found was, and what my clients find when they do this strategy is, one, it builds your confidence massively. Because if you can
Okay.
teach or explain or guide somebody in that hour from cold, so no prep, no research, so literally someone just shows up and goes, hi, I'm this person, I've got this problem, you're an expert in this thing, can you help me? And you can just help them with what's in your head. Yeah. No structure, no slides, and you can do that. That's how you know you're really a true expert, right? Then it's a great confidence builder for you. So first, my priority is always me, my client, and me and my client.
Right.
It's going to make you feel great. It's going to make you really hone your craft. Is what I've come back becoming time served, right? So it's going to help you. It's going to get you to practice your expert status thing, right? So it's going to get you to practice, which is great. It's also going
Mhm.
to, which is really important, get you to understand your clients so much better than guessing ever will.
Okay.
Like, I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of ideal client avatar creation and ideal client as a attraction of spiritual practice, spending time in devotion with your ideal client and like in meditation with and all that kind of stuff, right? But nothing can beat listening to your ideal client and
Right.
recording it over and over and over again. So you can see what the words they're using, what problems they've got, what the real problem is, because it's always the thing behind the thing. It's never the thing they think it is, right? But if you do, let's say you do 100 hours, that becomes your like apprenticeship in your expert positioning, if you like. Like
Um,
100 hours at £100 is good money. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's good money, and how you do those 100 hours, you could do an hour a week and make 100 quid a week, or you can do 10 hours a week, make £1,000 a week. I don't mind, right? But I was doing them like morning, noon, and night. I was like, what is going on here? I'm working like 5, 10 hours. Like, I'm working 10 hours a week around my kids. I'm making £1,000 a week. I'm making £4,000 a month. This is like life-changing money. So when people go, oh, it's £99, I'm like, no, when you're doing 10 a week, babe, like, this is good money by anybody's standards. But anyway, so you actually so you get your confidence and you're honing your craft. You're hearing what your client's saying, which is really powerful. And you've got, now with ChatGPT, you've got hours and hours of real
Yeah.
time ideal client footage and you doing your expert thing. So ChatGPT has a field day with that, right? Because it'll understand you and your client so much better. And you've made the money. And from the outside, you're becoming the expert in this thing, because how you finish the session is, this has been great. If you've loved it, if you could give me a shout out somewhere on social media and tag me in, I'd be super grateful, right? That's how I'd finish every call. And because they were like, hi from the session, they'd immediately go to Facebook or LinkedIn and be like, just had a session with Helen. Oh my God, it's blown my mind, blah, 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 right? I'd
Yeah.
then screenshot it, post it on my socials, like, oh my God, I've just done this with this person, tag them in, which they would love. I'd be like, it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I've got 3 spaces for next week. Who wants one? And that was the
Right.
strategy, right? It was as simple as that.
Wow.
And then I just rinse and repeat that week in, week out. And it just changed my life because it made me money, it got me confident, and it got me loads of social proof, right? There's a reason why I got 4,000 testimonials, right? Because I asked for them and I did so many of these
Yeah.
one-to-ones. And those people who had those one-to-ones in the early days, I'm still in touch with them now. They're like my biggest fans, my biggest supporters. They've bought everything that I've ever sold ever since. They're my lifetime value clients. And I feel like as a strategy, the £99 thing strategy is like rock solid. Like, I've never met somebody it can't work for. And it's the thing that people get really excited about, because they're like, oh, I can see how that would work for me. Or they say, I can't see how that would work for me, and that's fine too. You know what I mean? Like, and then I can help them work it out. But it really gets you to hone who you are and what you're about. So that's really how I got started and how I started making money while I was planting those seeds of the visibility pieces as well.
Wow, I love that. Oh my goodness, so simple and so effective. Like, it brings me to my next question. So you've mentioned, like, you LinkedIn expert, you did all the steps, and that now you've transitioned to client attraction, that you feel like you're starting all over again and being an expert in that niche right from the start. Now you've got to be seen as the expert in that kind of area. Now, do you find that things have changed? You've got to do different steps, or the steps that you took before can then work for this business that you've got going on now?
I would say nothing's changed and nothing ever will change.
Really?
I've been in marketing since I was 20. So that's 25 years. Nothing's changed. You just got to find people with
Really?
problems and fix it. It's as simple as that, honestly. Even with
Okay.
AI, right?
Mhm.
Nothing's really. I love AI. Don't get me wrong. I love
Yeah.
ChatGPT. I love it. Like it's my best friend. Right? I'm in a toxic relationship with it. I'm obsessed with it. Right. So it's not that I don't love it. I do, but the fundamentals are never going to change. You got to find. You got to grow your audience. You got to give value to that audience, and you got to sell to that audience. Now, the tactics. There's nuances, but not massively. Getting on
Okay.
podcasts, being a guest expert, being in people's groups, going to in-person events. Like these tactics that are not massively different, are they? Like the only thing we've seen huge shift was obviously so many people went online, but most of us were already online. So like, even in COVID, people like talking about Zoom like it was the new thing. And we're like, we've all been on
Right.
Zoom for years, so
Yeah.
it accelerated a lot of people's understanding of working online, which was great. Like everyone who does things like therapy, for example, like suddenly everyone's happy to have therapy online, whereas 10 years ago, everyone was like, no, I want to come and sit in with a box of tissues and a comfy sofa. So it's like, it's been a positive thing that the online thing has massively exploded, I think, because the consumer is much more comfortable with working this way. So I feel like,
Yeah.
if anything, the tech is helping, not hindering, and not really changing buyer behavior. I keep seeing that buyer behavior's changed. Has it? Or have we just got really bad at selling? But I said that I was like, oh, buyer behavior's changed, and I wrote a really funny post, which I love. What a lot of people were messaging me like, "Are you okay?" It was this. I called it like my Sunday night post, and it was a real call to arms to myself. I was like, "Your revenue
Okay.
has plateaued. You are still dining out on your 2016, 2018 success.
Right.
You all keep saying that the market has changed. It hasn't. All that you've done is you've stopped selling in the way that works. So the way that works is find the people with the problem and fix it for them. And what I was doing was like doing the same old mechanism. So for example, I do 5-day challenges. So I was doing the same old thing, but I was selling to people at £3,000 instead of £1,000. And I was like, oh,
Right.
buyer behavior change. No, it hasn't. It's just the people who've got £3,000 to drop on your program haven't got 5 days to hang out with you right now. You know what I mean? Like you've got
Right.
to, people who come in a 5-day challenge buy £1,000 products all day long. They always have done, always will do. And it was like, no, what you need to think, Helen, you need to think, actually, how can I solve the problem for the people that are on the challenge, not the people who've got the £3,000 and no time over there. Solve them in a different way, of course. So I was like, oh, so what I actually need to do is create £1,000 product, a 6-week product that solves their problem right now in the challenge. And then once they've done that, then they can buy the £3,000 thing because they'll be in a totally different position, different place. They'll understand, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
really, like understanding the thing behind the thing is what we need to be doing, not saying buyer behavior's changed. What we need to understand is where our buyers are at and sell them things that they need right now. And that's never changed. It's never changed. You know what I mean? There's a reason why
Mm.
people buy cans of Diet Coke, right? Because it's cold and it's there and it's in front of you when you're in the garage. It's like, it's not that
Yeah.
buyer behavior's changed. It's just like, you just got to get your product in front of the right people at the right time. And that is never going to change.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I love that. I love that. And it's so funny because it brings me back to me when I first started out. And it's funny because when I first started out, it was in the US, right? It wasn't in the
Mm.
UK, it was in the US. And so when I then decided to kind of branch out in the UK, and I was doing all these bits and pieces, and I was like, hold on a second. No, 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 no. I've got to do the same thing that I did in the US now, just in the UK, right?
Yeah.
So I totally hear you when you say, no, nothing's changed. It's the same things, the same process, right? But we just got to understand our clients a little bit more and see what their needs are for sure. So I totally am there with you on that for sure. So I love that. Okay, so I've got a few more questions for
Okay,
you.
I'll try and keep it tight. I know I'm talking a lot. Apologies.
No, 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 I love it though. I love it. I'm like, we're gonna keep rolling. I can speak to you all day now. Um,
No, no.
all right, so a couple of things here. I've gone and checked your social media. Right, I've checked
Good.
your social media. I've gone, yeah, I have, of course. Every guest that comes along, I am spying on them on socials for sure, right? And so one of the things that I've noticed about you is you're not there, and do not get this the wrong way, right? Like, don't take it the wrong way. But there's so many people that are going on camera and pretending like they need to be perfect.
Mm.
Right? They need to be perfect. They need to be on point. You got to have your hair on point, your makeup on point. You can't say a word off key, otherwise you're going to lose clients. And I love that you're just genuine, you're authentic, and you know what? You're so quirky. Right? I've seen your videos when like your cat has dropped your coffee and everything's gone to pot.
Couldn't believe that. Honestly, the cat fell off a shelf right in front of me. But what I love about the video is the way I don't really miss a beat. I'm just talking to my client like as if nothing's just happened. The top had smashed, it smashed the thing. I had boiling hot peppermint tea all over my lap. And I was just like, just carry on talking, just carry on, show business, you know?
I love that. And I've seen a few of these videos and I'm like, oh my goodness, you are just authentically you. But I feel like that is the reason why people are just drawn to you because you're not trying to be anybody else. You're just being you.
I haven't got
And
time
so I
to
would love,
try and be someone else. It's exhausting enough being me. Imagine trying to be someone else, right? I haven't got time for that. I see that all the time online. I see it, you know, so I work with a lot of like high level people now, you know, and it's like, babe, why are you making it so difficult for yourself? Why are you trying to be this perfect version of you when people don't even want that? People are like intimidated by that anyway. And it's just, honestly, if I'm gonna be on a mission, it's honestly permission to just be yourself. Because you know what? I I was really weird at school. Like I was bullied at school. I was like I've had some terrible relationships. I've had friendships that have gone terribly wrong. I've had business partnerships that have gone terribly wrong. And fundamentally, sometimes I am not very likable, right? And that is okay. But the people who love me, and that is more important. So if there's anything, I've got to be more me so that the people who love me can find me and the people that hate me don't come near me. You know, like
yes,
it's like I don't want you to find out you hate me after you've paid me, right? Or after we're in a relationship or after we've gone into business together. Like I try and put people off. So I was like hiring someone into my business and I was like, she was like trying to sell to me. I was like, listen, I know I want to hire you. That's why I'm on this call. Like I've known you. I can see, like, I don't, you know, I'm not here to interview you. I'm here to tell you what I'm really like. And what you see on camera is me, but it's a nice version of me. Like I can be like rude and a bitch and hard work and emotional because I'm like a middle-aged woman, like trying to hold my life together. And like sometimes I can come across as like really direct, and some people think that's rude. So I've had that feedback before. You know, I've had client, you know, I've had staff in tears because they think I'm upset with them. I'm like, I'm not upset with you, babe. Like I'm upset with the dog that's barking while I'm on a podcast. I'm upset with one of the kids that's just come down being an absolute cow to me. I'm upset with this. I was like, but this is me. So like, yeah, I am me, but I'm also like me, good and bad, you know, and I hope that that comes across because I don't want people who really don't like me on a soul level to come anywhere near me. It's a coping mechanism. You know, it's like I don't want to hear it. Like when I first went online, I was very, I was a lot. I was a lot, and it was a coping mechanism. It was like, I'm coming through, like, I don't give a shit whether you like me or not. Like, I just, like, get out of my way. You know, I was into, like, you know, I was like a single mom. I'm, like, here to, like, I'm in a male-dominated kind of, like, niche, if you like. So I'm here, you know, and I'm going to be me, and I don't care whether you like me or not. And you know what? A lot of people came at me, was like, because the stuff I teach is against what most people teach. just on a strategy level. It doesn't not
Okay.
really
Right.
like things like don't send personalized connection requests, don't send any DMs, like don't be a knob
Right.
on LinkedIn because everyone is, and like just be yourself. And a lot of people came at me and was like, "You're wrong. You're this and that." Nowadays,
Really? Mm.
someone comes to me and says, "You're wrong." I'll go, "Okay, okay." Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, fine. Like, I don't discuss it. I don't need to. Like, I'm just like, I'm so confident that I don't need to defend my decisions. You know what I mean? Like, when I write content, you'll have seen this. I don't really ask for opinions. I get them. I don't ask for them because I'm not interested. My my stance on things is a statement, not a question. It's like this is what I know to be true, right? But in the early days, I was like, oh, I'm do this, and this, and people would come back and go, oh no, I don't agree with you, and then I'd be like, in the comments with them, like literally in the dirt, wrestling them online, going, I'm
Really?
right, and they'd be like, no, you're right, I'm right, blah, 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 blah. And then we just have these huge arguments that would take up all of my time and energy, and like my cortisol would be spiking, and I'd be like trying to give the kids fish fingers, and I'd be like, get back to the argument on LinkedIn. It was just stupid.
Goodness.
Yeah, but it's just like, and
Yeah.
people do remember me from those days, and they'd be like, oh, I used to love watching you like online because you just like, people would come at you and then you'd like tear them apart. And I was like, babe, that was no fun for me. I was like,
Mm.
I was not doing it for I always say it's like pantomime. You used to come out Big Brother. But people must have thought I was an absolute cow, It's just like, babe, you don't need to be like that. Like me talking to that version of me now. This is what I say when I'm involved. So now people don't like me, I just try and keep them away. Like, and it's the same thing, but now I do it by just really stepping into who I am and not having to defend myself and knowing that people won't like me because I know there's loads of people that do love me. So I focus on those people rather than the other people. But we can't have one
Mm.
without the other. And this is the thing that stops a lot of people. They get a hater, as we would call them online. You get a hater, you get someone who speaks to you like, usually men or whatever, like, like try and talk to you, whatever. Anyway,
Right.
it's always a man in it. Or people that don't agree with you and all the rest of it, right?
Right.
And they go, "Oh
Mm.
my God, this person doesn't like me. This person doesn't." And don't get me wrong, I care that people don't like me. It's not that I'm like, I go to bed and I go, "Oh, I'm so glad people hate me." Like I hate it. I want everyone to love me. Of course I do. But also, like, you can't have one without the other. If people are going to really love you, there's going to be people that hate you because you're going to be so attractive to the right people. You're going to repel the wrong people. So,
Yeah.
like, understanding that and embracing it has been part of the journey for sure. But also understanding you don't need to go and wrestle in the dirt with those people. You just have to let them, to quote Mel Robbins stroke. Oh, shit, what's her name? Oh, hate that because I feel like I should always go Cassie, someone. Sorry, but like that theory of like let them is so powerful, and it's like a bit of that because it's going to happen if you're going to do things at scale, and it's almost like doing things at scale is like so scary because if you like when you work in an office, right? So let's say you're in a team of 10 people, two of them love you, want to go for lunch with you every day and be friends at work. Two of them hate you, don't want to
Mhm.
speak to you and think you're horrible. Everyone in the middle is kind of neutral and you just pass pleasantries, right? It's the same
Right.
online, except I have got hundreds of thousands of followers. So I've got like the 20% over here that love me are like my biggest fans. Like, we love you, Helen. Everything you do is amazing. Like, I can just bring something out. Like, I'm going to do this thing. And they're like, I love it. Like, what I mean? They're like, I don't know what it is. I don't care. Like, they're just my biggest fans, biggest supporters. They'll defend me to the death in a room when I'm not even in it. Like, and I love them
Right.
dearly. You know what I mean? And they'll know who they are. And well, I won't know who they all are, but there's these people and they message me like, oh, I followed you for years. I love you. You're amazing, right? Great. Then there's this lot over here who, I'm sure just everything I do just grinds their gears. You know what I mean? Like everything I do. And it must be so annoying because even if you block me, like my Facebook ads will be coming at you. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, and I know I'll wind
Right.
people up and they'll have like WhatsApp groups about me and they'll be like, oh, Helen's done this and
Oh,
Helen's this and that. I'm
man.
sure they do. And that's okay. But I know they do because I don't know about that bit, but people come to me and go, when I first met you, I hated you. Yeah. When I first found you online, I didn't like you. Yeah. People say that to me in real life as well. They'll say, like, oh, when I met you, I didn't like you. You're too much for me or whatever. But now I've got to know you, like, whatever. Um, and it's like, well, I can't really change who I am. So people are going to love me and they're going to hate me. But it's the people that don't like me. And then they write to me and they're like, I watched Helen's live Like they write to me at my company about me. I watched Helen's live tonight and it's disgusting that she's drinking. I think it's disgusting that she's drinking on a live and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And she's swearing and she's going off topic and blah, 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 right? And, you know, she speaks too fast. She's too northern. She's rude. Whatever, right? So they send a 4-page email to me about me, which I do not know why I'm supposed to escalate that to, right? But then we also get letters in, if you like, that are like, oh my God, I watched Helen's live tonight. Oh, it was amazing. I just love that she drinks wine on the live and that she just talks and she's really like funny and northern and direct. And I love, and I love it that kids come in and out. So what am I supposed to do? Like upset the people that love me by stop doing all that and please the people that hate me who aren't going to buy from me anyway. So, but what I'm saying is online, it's really amplified. Like in the office scenario, you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird. They like me there. But you can kind of contextualize it. But online, it's like really, it's really like, it's like extrapolated out at volume.
Yeah.
So it's been a really interesting learning for me that I can't have one without the other. Like look at Taylor Swift. Yeah, for everyone who loves her and will go to every gig, there's someone who hates that woman like deeply, and it's almost like you think, well, why would you care so much? But at least they care. At least everyone knows who Taylor Swift is.
Right.
Sing a Taylor Swift song, right? Taylor Swift's the one making millions. And the person who hates them in their garage who's typing on the computer, it's like, who'd you rather be, So I sometimes I feel like, and it's also important for me to go through it so that I can teach it or I can talk to it. So when people have it on a small scale, I can say, look, this is part of the process. It's okay. And if I can deal with it, you can deal with it. I'm the one that's, got a mortgage-free house. I'm the one that take my kids to New York and Dubai. I'm the one that's got a Rolex. It's like I make a lot of money. And part of it is because I've got all these people that hate me, because without them, I wouldn't have the people that love me. So, you've got to choose your hard. There's always going to be a payoff. Well, that's life, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what? That just kind of explains us to all these different things that you've learned and people and everything that you've gone through while you're doing client attraction now, right? That is all the kind of do's and the don'ts and everything that you've learned that you're now showing people. So it makes complete sense now that you've explained your entire journey, right, with us. And so I would love you to share a little bit about what the client attraction really involves. We've already got a taster of what all of that is, but number one, why client attraction? Why is that important? And I guess maybe even share with us some of the common things that you see happen really often that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, so ideal client work. Again, it's like the hill I'm prepared to die on because like LinkedIn was, everyone was like, no, LinkedIn's crap. And I was like, LinkedIn's great. Like you can go over there, make a load of money. Just need to not get emotionally connected to it. So it's almost like I choose hard things, right? So I've chosen ideal client, which is also massively misunderstood, and has a terrible reputation. Ideal client avatar work particularly has this terrible reputation, which is so funny. So for me, the biggest misconception about ideal client work is that it's about the client. That people think ideal client work is about the client, and it's not. So, right. So it's the same when I used to teach LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is not about the client. LinkedIn is not about you. The LinkedIn profile is not about you. It's about the client. And it's a bit like this. So ideal client work as a spiritual practice, because this is about getting into the energetics of it as much as the strategy of it. Those two things sit together. Is not about the client. It's about the person. So it's about you as the entrepreneur. And that's the way that we do it in that order. So we start with who you are and who you want to be in the world. Yeah. What are you actually here to do? So we're not even thinking about the client. It's like just you. What are you here to do? What is your identity here as an entrepreneur? Not forever, but for now. Like, what is the thing you want to get known for? And why is that important to you? And what's brought you to this moment? When I do ideal client work, we don't do it one-to-one, the first almost like 20 minutes is what I call like the episode 1 Netflix season 1 version of you. Like, give me the backstory, give me everything that brings you to this call, brings you to this moment. because that gives me the context of the person sat in front of me, who they are, what they're about, you know, what shaped them, what their values are, like who they are in the world, right? So that's step one. And meanwhile, everyone's out there going, ideal client work's about doing an ideal client avatar, right? Forget that.
Right.
That comes later. So step one is to know who you are.
Okay.
Step two is the offer. So step one is the self, step two is the offer. And what I mean by the offer is the thing that you are selling to bring this to the world. Yeah. The vehicle in which the people out there get the person in here. And that is a really important part of the process, because what I see a lot of is people putting offers out they don't even want to sell.
Interesting. I guess it's because they feel like that's what's going to bring the money in.
Because they think that's what the client wants. Yeah.
Mm.
And they think that's how they're going to be able to get paid. Yeah.
Mm.
There's so many ways you can monetize your genius, your expert authority, that this is a really important part of the process that we don't skip. And what happens is if you skip it and you start creating offers because you think the market wants it, you can do all the strategies in the world. They're not going to work, because energetically, you don't want to deliver it. Yeah. You don't actually want
Yeah.
to do the thing the way you're selling it. Yeah, you want to do the thing the way you want to do the thing. So how do you want to bring your thing to the world is the next step. And this is where we get all Goldilocksy, because we can try different things. Like, well, you could do that one-to-one, you could do it, you know, you could write a book and become it this way, or you could, you know, do a group program, or you could do it in person, you could do it over 6 months, you could do it in an hour, you could do it over 12 months. So really understanding the person in front of me and their energy, their personality, and their bandwidth. I think they're the three things that I talk to in a lot of my content now. So the energy of the person in front of me, like how much energy have you got? Like how do you manage your energy? How does your energy perform best, if that makes sense? You know, is it like I can work really fast and really hot, like, you know, short term, and then I need time to rest? Is it like I'm just a steady person, I just want to, you know, be consistent? Is it I get this kind of inspired energy and I want to work with that, right? So what's the energy of the person in front of me? What's the personality? So your personality, your entrepreneurial personality, is something that we do not talk about enough. You know, because a lot of people
Right.
look at
Yeah.
me and like, oh, I want what you've got. And it's like, well, you can't get what I've got because you haven't got my personality and my
Right.
energy in terms of like how I want to show up in the world. So like, I want to be on podcasts. I want to be like in front of millions of people. Not everyone does. Like, I've got that like celebrity personality, if you like, that makes sense. Like, I want the big volume, you know. Not everyone's like
Yeah.
me. And that's good, because we're not
Right.
all the same, right? So understanding the
Yeah.
personality of the person who might be more quiet or want to do things on a more kind of in-depth level. Like, I want volume and I want scale, like, and I'm unapologetic about it, but it doesn't mean it's right for everybody. So many people come to me like, I want to do what you've done. I'm like, do you? Like, do you really want to do it like that? Like, do you? Because you've got to, because it's going to be a big, long process. Like, are you sure you
Yeah.
want to do it this way for the next 10 years, you know? And I know they don't want it. This is what my superpower is, being able to read people, right? Anyway, so the personality of the person in front of me. And then the bandwidth. And bandwidth is something that I've only recently started talking about because I had the realization myself. Yeah. So when some things happened with I had teenage daughters, they're adults now, but you know, something happened with my youngest daughter, which I won't go into, but you know, it's to do with her mental health, and it was like a massive crisis for me as a mum. Like, suddenly I realized the
Right.
concept of bandwidth, right? Because I was like, oh, I'm doing a launch, but I'm also can't leave my daughter on her own. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like,
Right.
I can do the launch, but energetically, emotionally, I'm with my daughter, you know? So like, I did the launch, but I could only give 1% of me. It was still a good launch. I still showed up, still did what I need to do, right? Because it's show business, and I'm a business person, and I commit to my business, right? But ultimately, energetically, emotionally, my bandwidth was over here. Same with moving house. Yeah, if anyone's ever moved house, I've just recently sold 2 houses and bought one, which is a joy. Actually was a joy. It was fine. I manifested it great anyway. So it all went quite smoothly, but environmental bandwidth, you know what I mean, was low, because we're kind of like physically relocating. We've got all of that emotion stuff, the kids, and you know, so bandwidth is a thing. So, and that is also bandwidth is a movable feast. What you are not available for right now might change in the future. So this is why we create offers for now, not forever, that just fit our energy, personality, and bandwidth right now, and the finances. This offer has to give you the money you want, yeah, to give you the lifestyle you want. So we've not even talked about client yet. Yeah, this is the thing. It's understanding the person in front of me who are they and how do they want to show up in the world, and how are we going to create an offer that gives them everything that they need financially, energetically, for their personality and their bandwidth, right? And these things that people don't even think about. Then, and only then, we look at the ideal client for that offer and that person.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's ideal
Okay.
client mapping. So we're mapping, we create an avatar of the dream person, like the most beautiful, like unicorn doesn't exist person, right? This the perfect person. But we can only do that when we know the offer and the person that's going to be delivering it. So then I can really help them build an ideal client avatar that really is perfect, that is going to match them on an energetic level, on a personality level, on a bandwidth level, on a finance level, and on a values level, and they've got the problems that this person can solve. So when we do that, and then we create this person like they're a character in a film or a book, we give them a name, give them an age, give them everything. So they're a real person in our minds. So that's why I call my sessions co-creations, because we co-create this person in our minds. Then we can start to understand this person that we've created. What is it about this offer that they love? What is it about this person who's going to deliver it that they love? What are the problems that they've got right now? And what are the outcomes going to be for this person when they've done the thing that we're selling? Then we can understand how to position it in the market and how to talk about it. And then we can put all of that content. So it's like when we do it, I do it like one-to-one, it's like about a 90-minute session. We can record all that, put it into ChatGPT or whatever, and suddenly I call it like aligned input, right? Because the input you're now putting in ChatGPT is so aligned with who you are on a soul level and on a strategic level that ChatGPT can't get it wrong. And when we know this and we understand like who you are, how you want to show up in the world, how that's going to, give you what you need, then it's going to give them, the client, what they need and who that client is. Then all the strategies start to work. All the content starts to flow. All the funnels that you've built start to work. All the programs that you've invested in start to work. All the strategies that you're executing start to work. Like it starts to feel totally different because everything's aligned. When you align to yourself off a client, everything's aligned. And then the other thing that we do is that we strategically use this with ChatGPT, with our content, with our funnels and stuff, but on a spiritual level, we use it. So every day we spend 3 minutes quiet with our ideal client avatar, with ourselves, with our offer, and with our client. I posted about that today. But we spend 3 minutes just quiet with them and we build an energetic connection with them. And then we ask them every day, what do you need to hear from me today to feel safe that I'm the person to help you? And we wait for the answer. So when we speak to our ideal client energetically, we get all the answers that we need. And then we use that energy, that intel, if you like, on that energetic connection to then go to create content. So then we do that and we get into that energy before we write a post that day, before we go on stage, before we go on a podcast, before we, have a sales conversation. It's like, my actual ideal client, what would you need to hear from me today? And it's going to change. It's going to change because it's a mirror review, right? It's like, what do you say today, right? So some days it'll be like, I need to go out there like in this energy, and some days it'll be like, I need to be in a different energy, and that's because this is all a mirror of you and where you're at and how you want to show up in the world. So when we use this work, once you've done it, you've done it. Like it is changeable and movable, and you can redo it, of course. But once you really know it on a soul level, and everything becomes clear, everything becomes easy. Because then. It's manifesting in action, we're setting an intention, we're getting in the right vibration, we are taking action every day, then the clients appear, and then people voice note me and like, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. I just had a DM off Facebook of this woman who's like, she is Alice. Like, she is Alice. Oh. Like, her name's Deborah, but she's Alice. She's like 45. She's great. She's got these problems. I know I can help her. And it was just a beautiful conversation. And she wants to buy from me. She wants to buy the thing. And I just can't wait to deliver it. And I'm like, a bit like the guy with the link. And I'm like, yeah, of course. This is how it is.
I love it.
Huge, but to me, I'm like, this is how it should be. Yeah. This is how business should be, right?
This is normal. This is what you call normal, right? Oh, I love it. I
Your
love it.
ideal
Oh my
client should be attracted to you and in your DMs or however you sell, saying, I want the thing. Like, I know it, I feel it. I want the thing on a strategic level, on a spiritual level. They want the thing, you want to give them the thing. Like it's all a beautiful, like energetic soup that feels great. And like, I want that for everybody. And then the delivery is even more beautiful, you know? The sales is easy and the delivery is magical. And that's what I want for everybody.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Helen, I feel like I can just speak to you all day long about this, right? But I know you got to walk the dog as well, right? So at this point, Helen, everyone's probably thinking, oh my goodness, I need to be in contact with Helen. I need to find out more about what she does. Where can they go to connect with you?
So Facebook is like my spiritual home. Although I teach LinkedIn, I don't actually hang out on LinkedIn. I teach how to get the most out of LinkedIn without having to hang out on there, right? Because it's full of weirdos. So Facebook is where I hang out. So if you follow me, my dream is to have millions of followers on Facebook. That's like the vision. Because
Yeah.
I just love the thought of millions of people just reading all of the rubbish that I write. It's so funny. You know, like pictures of my dog, you know, insights into business, stuff around my kids and my family, or like, you know, like just things that I think there's no filter for me between what I think and feel and what I put on Facebook. So like, if you really want to get to know me, just follow me on Facebook. You'll see the stuff that I'm selling, the stuff that I'm talking about, who I am as a person. You know, that's really where I want people to go. But to learn like this stuff, we will be doing regular 5-day challenges. So I'd love for you to come find me and ask me when my next 5-day challenge is and come and join us for 5 days of this stuff. 5 days of talking about who you are and how you want to show up in the world and getting that bit done and really helping you understand your expert identity and ultimately like taking a step back and making your business all about you again. So that's what
I love this. That is amazing. Oh my goodness, guys. If you've not come across Helen, right, go and connect with her. Like, go and stalk her out on social media, like just like the way I did, right? Go and check out her stuff. It is awesome. And like, connect with her. Go and learn more about what she does. Go to these challenges. You will not regret it. I promise you. Helen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Like, so many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Kay. Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.